Hey you, it's Allison. I'm a death doula, grief educator, and coach, as well as an end-of-life services planner. So let's talk about the 3 rights to grieve in your own way. So loss connects us as humans, and it's an unfortunate part of life that most of us will experience at some point. Yet, despite its universality, there is no one right way to grieve. Grief has its path and its pace. It doesn't know a calendar, and it is rarely experienced as a steady linear progression from high intensity to eventual resolution. As a grief advocate and psychotherapist Megan Devine stated, there is no one correct way to live this. Others have come before you, and others will come after you, but no one carries grief or love in the same way that you do. There's nothing to do but experiment. It's all a work in progress. So no two people experience and express grief in the same way. All too often, the bereaved don't actually get to grieve in ways that really meet their needs, and perhaps sometimes will just avoid facing the reality of their loss or to prevent the discomfort of others. So the reality is when you're grieving, you are suffering, and you have the right to grieve in your way. You have the right to express your grief in whatever way you see fit. So it's important to remind yourself of this, and particularly if you feel pressure to behave or think or do something in a specific certain way, or become too concerned with how you should be feeling. While there's no right way to grieve and there's no quick fix, identifying your unique physical and emotional needs will help you exercise your rights to grieve in ways that meet those needs. So here are the 3 grievers' rights. Grievers' right number 1 is you have the right to identify your needs. We grieve in different ways, and our needs are unique to our circumstances. Some people may need to talk about their loss, while others need to feel less pressure to, quote, move on. It's important to be really, really honest with yourself and consider what your needs are first. Only you know what you truly need right now. So here's grievers' right number 2. You have the right to identify what your rights are. Your rights are the rules that you allow yourself to live by to meet your needs. For example, if you need to talk about your loss, of a corresponding right would be, I have the right to talk openly about my grief, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. Perhaps one of your needs is to be more tolerant of your physical and emotional limits. And so in this example would be, this example of the corresponding right could be, I have the right to show myself kindness and respect what my body and my mind are telling me. Griever's right number 3. You have the right to exercise your rights as a griever. So let's look at a quick example. I have the right to talk about my grief, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Here, you might consider the people in your life who would be open to talking candidly about your loss, about your loved one, or perhaps search for a support group or therapy that would allow you to do so. You could also consider, for example, the right of, I have the right to show myself kindness and respect what my body and my spirit and my mind are telling me. Here, you might permit yourself to rest when you need to without self-judgment. So here's another quick example. Maybe one of your needs in your way of grieving is, I need to take breaks from grief to recharge and experience something good for a moment or two. And so your right to this need is to say, I have the right to have fun in my life. And so how you would exercise that right is you could say to yourself, I will allow myself to experience moments of joy without guilt. I will tell myself that although I'm grieving, I'm also allowed to experience and feel joy. So these are the 3 rights for grievers. And so I'm curious, what do you think about these rights, and where do you feel like you are in those grievers' rights?